I'm thinking beers.
I'm thinking beers.
Let's go. What up, chat? Welcome to episode number 1, take 2.
Take 2. We just recorded this like 2 seconds ago. Probably got about 15, 20 minutes in, no audio. No audio, didn't have it recorded. So we swear we pressed the button and I was looking at it and we saw the time. So hopefully it doesn't happen again.
Learning curve.
But we were only like 10, 15 minutes in. So
it just sucks too, because it was gold. It was probably the best 20 minutes of podcasting you'd ever hear.
Yeah, but it kind of sets us up for the intro. This is Thinking Beers. We've been thinking about making a podcast for a while. Really, truthfully, this is like an excuse for me and Joe to get together and have a couple beers and just like talk about scheduled things to talk about. Like I remember seeing a TikTok a while ago where it was like, my dad and all of his friends always come with a list of 5 things to talk about at their next dinner party. And I'm like, that's actually kind of funny because like you're just like gatekeeping what you want to talk about and then you talk about it in like a short period of time. So always kind of want to do that. Always kind of want to get involved with it. We are out the mud though. Like this is my phone filming. We have bought these mics on Amazon that I think are working. Joe, yours. Just make sure that mine's on. Lights on.
Let's go.
But we got these on Amazon. And they're okay. I mean, you guys give us feedback though.
Chat, say in the comments what you think about the mics.
Yeah, and let's hear from chat. But basically going to be talking about whatever is relevant. So today we'll be talking about Lions. We'll be going into, it's the day of the AFC NFC Championship game. So we'll talk through those picks. We'll talk about the Lions, and then we'll kind of go into some more fun stuff like, hey, who was the we'll go into some fun questions. I won't give it away just yet.
Few segments.
Digesting Cora, and that'll be a good one. So a lot planned, a lot in store. We are treating this like a rough draft season. So we're treating this as like we're going to learn how to do it. We're going to get better at it. So if you can help us out.
Goal is for this podcast to have more segments than a middle school math test.
Yeah. Not a lot, but a lot.
Just 2 dudes having beers, unfiltered,
exactly
raw. This is me and Chris.
So that's the plan, and that's what we're gonna do. We, if we getting famous is a byproduct of what we're doing, cool. We'll probably, move along and go forward and be like, Taco Bell's reaching out, or Coors is reaching out, or.
This episode's sponsored by the Crunch Wrap.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we're hoping for.
We'll
probably sell out to the first like creatine brand that's like, hey, we'll give you 1 shipment of creatine. I'll be like, I'll advertise the shit out of that.
If anyone hits us up.
Literally we will sell out for everybody. So with that, we're excited. It's gonna be a good time. And I don't know how long these are gonna go. It's just however long it takes us to talk about this stuff. So with that being said, watch if you want, don't watch if you don't, but we're happy to be here.
And if you don't, you're dead to us.
Extremely. So with that, Lions, we, I guess we should give a little background. I like, Detroit teams, right? I don't keep up too much on other sports. I like to watch hockey. I like to go to hockey games, but Lions are my team. Lions are what I focus on. It's what I care about year round. What I think about year round. And then really other than that, if the Tigers are relevant, if the Wings or Pistons are relevant, like I live here, I'd love to go to a game. I'd love to be involved with it. But at the end of the day, like the Lions are what I care about. College football, maybe Michigan. We went to Central Michigan. So like just really those teams. I grew up a Michigan fan, had cousins that played at State. So kind of flipped up a little bit, but really don't have a diehard college team. And then that's really all I care about. But I know you got a more interesting fan history. So let's hear about kind of.
Yeah. I mean, yours makes sense. But I mean, my entire life growing up, my dad was a Steelers fan. So I grew up obviously seeing him win 2 Super Bowls, going to 3, just perennial winners, champions. That's something I feel like I've always reflected and kind of embodied in my life. 2-sport varsity athlete, coolest kid in school, constantly ran CMU. And I feel like we can both kind of relate to that, but
Yeah.
I've always just kind of been in the spotlight, you know what I mean? All eyes on me type deal. So that's why I feel like I embody Pittsburgh. You know what I mean?
You
Champions.
are Pittsburgh.
Yeah, champions, spotlight's on you, right?
Yeah.
And you got to perform when it is, which is why I feel like you and me are going to thrive in this podcast first and foremost. But I guess for my sport allegiances, like you were saying, right? Like I don't really care so much for baseball.
Yeah.
Unathletic.
I played
coordination.
baseball, so like I disagree a little bit, but go ahead.
It's the same thing to me like golf, right? Like if I spend enough time working on it, I could be in the
Yeah,
MLB.
but hitting like 80-mile-an-hour curveball is so difficult.
Yeah, but I could figure it out. Like I said, 2 sport varsity. No, I'm just joking. But yeah, I guess if I had to rank the top 4, right? NFL, college basketball, college football, NBA in that order.
Yeah.
And I know we were kind of talking about it, but my allegiance lies with teams that make me money. Oddly enough, I actually just got my FanDuel recap for last year, and my number 1 bet on team was Wisconsin college basketball.
Just because they make you money.
They do. I mean, they cover a lot.
Right.
So I guess if we're talking favorites, it's probably my favorite. I mean, at the end of the day, I have merch for like 20 of the NFL teams. My top 3 teams are Lions and Steelers tied, and then Bills third because of Josh Allen. But whatever team I think is going to win that day is my favorite team in that moment.
Well, talk about how you have had a little animosity with the Lions. You know what I mean? Like you've had a little. We've all had ups and downs if you've been a fan a long time, but like, I want to hear about it.
I mean, honestly, it's kind of my dad's fault. He switched up the biggest. Growing up, the Lions were Garbo, John Kitna, quarterback. I respect the dude as much as you can respect a quarterback of that caliber.
Name is Kitna.
It is Kitna. Shout out, Cat Chat. Cat Chat. But no, growing up, they were always trash, and I was seeing nothing but success from the Steelers, right? Like, I got to experience what winning feels like.
Yeah.
And so, especially like in high school and all that, I was seeing the killer bees going crazy. And I was just seeing Stafford's potential being wasted on the Lions. So when betting got legalized, especially, I was always betting against the Lions because it was winning me so much money.
Right.
And then I have one specific memory of I was watching the game with my dad and my brother in the basement, and I bet against the Lions because it was the moneymaker, and they were winning, and I was getting so pissed. And I do like the Lions, but I mean, if they're gonna be bad,
they got hot at the wrong time.
Yeah,
for you.
And my dad, he's like finally seeing it. It's took him 58 years, whatever it is, and he's finally seeing Lions success, and he's so happy. And I have nothing but animosity, and I'm so mad that they're doing good because I put a significant amount of money on the other team's spread, and then they finally want to be good. So the pendulum's finally swinging back to the point where they're, you know, my team.
Right.
So because now they cover all the time. I like them. I know to bet on them. But that's originally why I became more of a Steelers fan.
Right. But didn't cover the, what was it, 8.5, 9.5 spread against Washington?
Mm-mm.
Insane.
Yeah.
Insane. Like, I was scared all week. I was scared. I was like a closet scared, you know? I was like, we should win this game. All signs point to yes. But, like, I hate when that's the case. Like, I'd rather it be like the Vikings or the Packers or like the Rams or the Bucks, where it's like, this is gonna be a good game. It was literally like people were like, the Lions are gonna shit on Washington.
That's where I was. I was in that camp where I thought it was the opposite, and I was like, everyone's gonna overthink this one, want to bet the underdog because it's a large number, when in reality the Lions are gonna come in and steamroll. Right.
And I bought in. I mean, when you've been a lifelong fan of this team, how you're not bought in by this time, and you're, you know, whatever. So it was difficult, but not good. Just bad performance. I mean, at the end of the day, my grievances, what is this, a week later? My grievances are the 2 people I just got new jobs, Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson. It was made it easier for them to go. I mean, Ben Johnson's great. He's got a great mind, but watching him cry in these press conferences is like, this guy should not be a head coach.
No.
Like, he's literally scared of the media. I don't know how I'm going to watch him talk to a team and get a team amped up when Dan Campbell's like, bite kneecaps and go like, you know.
He's the guy. To me, everything ran through Dan.
Right.
I'm actually of the camp where I think AG was not a good defensive coordinator. If you really look at his stunts and the coverages he pulled, everybody praised it when it worked out, but this game was such an obvious don't run man defense game.
Yeah.
I get you're limited with injuries, but you turn your back to Jaden Daniels, and what did he do?
Exactly.
he would either run for it or he would run to the line. Everyone would turn around and hit a deep bomb.
Yeah.
And that's such an easy halftime adjustment.
Right.
But what were we down at halftime? 10, 8?
Yeah.
Something like that. And just
J-Mo scored
didn't change.
Yeah. Like, it's just, it was hard to watch. I was most pissed at them. I was so pissed at Goff, too. I think he didn't have a good game. But I think, honestly, we could win that game if we handed to Gibbs every play.
Right.
We could win that game if we – and I think it could have been a little distraction that Demo was back and there was all the hype about him coming back. So, like, there is that piece where it's like, well, we got to get him the rock, too. And, like, he's, you know, whatever.
Didn't have to, though.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's like when you watch it back, you're like, we didn't have to do that.
No.
I heard that Glasgow had a bad game too, which I think he might be a free agent too. That's kind of what we'll get into is like how next year, you know. I mean, we just got Kelvin Shepherd for DC, and we just got, you know, we don't know who the OC is going to be yet, but I like Kelvin Shepherd, linebacker coach. The linebackers know the whole defense, so like that makes sense to me. He's been there like 8 years or something like that. So that makes sense. Good pick. I'm curious what we do on offense. I don't know. I've heard a couple of different things, but next year, I guess going into the draft, what do you want to draft? What do you want? What are you looking for?
I don't really know what we need. See, to me, I like depth. I wouldn't mind getting a safety. I wouldn't mind getting interior lineman for depth. I guess like the first picks in the draft, cornerback, because we're probably going to lose Carlton Davis, but
right.
I mean, really, I think we only need depth pieces, and then the big moves are going to come in free agency because we do have all that cap space. We're going to lose people to free up cap.
Yeah.
And we could probably restructure a few deals to the point where we can afford to bring back Tim Patrick and we can, you know, sign that new guard to replace Zeitler.
Right.
But I think the majority of it, I don't mind drafting a corner, but I feel like if anything, you could draft that nickel cornerback and then sign that big guy. You know what I mean? Like, Byron Murphy from Minnesota, who's going to be a free agent. He's going to cost a lot, but imagine pairing him up.
Right.
You know what I mean?
We need. I want some D line in some way, some capacity. Like if I only had to say one takeaway from this year, you need a defensive line to win games in big time moments, and like
trenches.
We just didn't have it. Like we had the offensive trenches, defensive trenches were like, oh, our offense is good enough where we can make up for it. No, not the case. So, that's what I want to see. That's what I'd like to see kind of addressed or brought up. But at the end of the day, I think we'll be okay. I think record prediction for next year, my record prediction is I'm going to go with, let's say 17 games. So we got 13-4.
Tough schedule, dude.
13-4 is what I'll give them. I'll give them 13-4. I can see them, like, I think dropping a couple games to maybe Ravens. I can't remember the full schedule, but maybe you drop one. I don't think the Vikings are going to be good next year. I don't think they're going to be good at all.
How would they regress?
I don't know.
I don't think
don't think that they're going to be that good. I don't know why. I think that
we all thought that last year, though, too, to be fair.
Right. That is true.
They were kind of fraudulent, though. I feel like they have been the last few years where they scrape together these wins and then choke when it matters.
Yeah.
It's like that classic Kirk Cousins dump off pass.
Yeah. So I think we can sneak by Vikings and sneak by the Bears. Ben Johnson first year, Caleb Williams, like that's gonna be tough to just turn around in a year. And then Packers. I'd never believed in Jordan Love, so like I feel like Packers are just dubs, but that's just me. So I like that's my record. What you got us at?
I'll have to see the moves we make in the offseason, what hires we finish up with, but in general, I think when new coordinators come in, it's going to take that gelling period regardless of how good our roster is.
Yeah.
I see us going in that 10-7 range, kind of getting in as a wild card. Even if we get more wins, though, I don't know. I'm worried about us winning the North. Our schedule is just so tough. I mean, 10 of our games are versus the NFC North and the AFC North. I would say those are the two toughest divisions in football, and it's hard to –
That is tough.
Even going like 500 in that stretch means 5 wins, 5 losses. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think we're going to be all right, though, at the end of the day. Dan, I think we're good for years to come. I think we got a young roster. I think we're in a good place money-wise where we can make moves and we can still improve. But I think we'll be good a couple of years. I'm not too concerned. But it sucks to lose a big one, you know?
Yeah.
It sucks to lose a big one. So
that was the one.
Steelers also lost a big one.
same amount of playoff wins between my two teams. That's what I will say. But
yeah,
no, that was an ass kicking. No, you looked horrible.
Hard to watch,
Mm.
and
especially to the Ravens. Nothing made me more mad.
I almost got Joe Steelers Super Bowl future for like Secret Santa this Christmas. Thank God I didn't.
No, I had enough money on them with good enough odds to where I could have bought a house if they ended up winning it, but obviously they didn't. Justin Fields is the guy, I guess.
So that's what we've been talking about. So he's saying he would like Russ gone, Justin Fields get another small contract.
Yeah.
And then let's hear what else pieces do you want to bring in this offseason?
Defense is still realistically challenging. So to me, Devontae Adams lock. I was telling Chris I have sources in both those locker rooms, Jets and Steelers. Both sides are very interested in getting this deal done. I'm projecting the deal gets done by the end of February. But you already got your veteran receiver in there. You draft Egbuka in the first round to pair up beside of him. And then you draft a running back to replace Najee because he's walking. Najee's average yards per carry this year were the same distance as if I laid down flat on the ground, which is ridiculous. You can't get by with that.
That is pretty crazy.
He's ass.
Yeah.
So he's going to walk. I think the offensive line is going to gel because they're a young group. We have another year together. And then you really just got to get the weapons, let Justin Fields cook, and it's make it or break it. Right? Like you draft a quarterback in the mid rounds to let him learn behind Justin Fields. You see how you go. But even regardless, the defense is still intact. We're going to extend TJ Watt, and all the other pieces are still there. So you beef up the offense, and I think we're back to being a 13-14 win team. Probably win the 1 seed, Super Bowl contender.
Yeah, I like more of a 10-7. You know the Steelers are going to be around 500. If you keep Tomlin, 500.
That's not true.
You're going to be just above 500. You're going to sneak in the playoffs, and you're going to.
When's the last time that happened?
I feel like every year you sneak in the playoffs. You're just like, oh,
that's recency bias.
The Steelers are just there somehow still. Like
you're just saying that because it happened in the last 8 years. But
yeah, exactly.
You're forgetting all the cool times.
That's how we'll see. But more to come. I mean, I'm sure we'll talk about random stuff. I mean, it's funny. You see Jets fans are mad because they're like, we hired a first-time head coach. Like, we do this all the time. It's going to go terribly. When it's like,
well, it's kind of crazy, like 5 or 6 year deal.
Yeah, but they should be looking at it as like Aaron Glenn played here. It's like literally like our Dan Campbell essentially is like the best they could get. So
there was this tweet and it was like, it was like this Jets fan and it was like, what would you say to people that say Aaron Glenn's a bad hire? And he was like, racist.
Pretty fair. Sure, I mean, fair. All right, so we got games today. Games soon. Games coming.
Big games. New segment alert.
Yeah. In big bets, not little bets.
Big
like
bet.
Pat. No little Pat bets. Big bets. Big Braden bets.
Fags.
No little Pat. Big Braden bets. So, Eagles Washington.
Big game.
I'm gonna keep it simple.
Easy game.
We think Eagles got it.
Eagles got it. 100%. Snow game.
Yeah, not good for Daniels in the snow.
Hostile environment. Healthy defense. I think they're the number 1 defense.
They got to be left. I don't know.
Even in general, I think.
So it's like number 1 defense versus like the 30th run defense against Saquon.
Yeah.
So with that being said, Saquon under 125 is my pick. I think they're going to give Saquon the rock a lot today. I think that he's going to get fed. But I personally think if you are a man and you play playoff football and you let another man run up and down the field for 126 yards on your team, you should not be allowed to play the next year. You should not be on the team the next week. It's playoff football. Like you go out, it's what you live for. So if that happens, I think it's just blown out of proportion because he's great, had a great year. I think Saquon's a great player, but this bet has been making me money. So
going back to the well,
I'm sticking back. I'm staying in the, riding the wave still. That's my only bet as of now on that game, but I do want to hear what you have. I don't hate the under, and I'm considering Washington plus 6.5, but what do you got?
To me, snow games are always tough because snow game makes me want to bet under less offensive performance, but you got to realize the offense knows what they're doing. The defense doesn't.
Right.
So it benefits the offense because you can catch them off guard.
Right.
They got to catch up. So, I mean, similar to what you're thinking, I think Saquon doesn't have a big game. Everybody in the world is going to bet on Saquon.
Right.
And I think everybody knows about Jalen Hurts' knee. So they're going to be expecting him to not have a good game. But all that means to me is that he's going to be running the rock less and throwing it more. Because that's the whole discussion this year has been about the Eagles not passing it enough. Jalen Hurts isn't the quarterback that can get you there. I'm maybe big braining this too much, but I think Jalen Hurts is a good passing day. Probably somewhere around 240 yards would be my guess. A.J. Brown, big day.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, my bet, his line's only at 190 and a half passing yards.
I like it. I like it. And we didn't talk about it, but we're going to keep track. We're going to keep a record, basically just an overall record. We're going to figure out, Chad, if you can help us with punishments. Chad, if you can help us out with what we should do with the record. We might do live bets during episodes sometimes for a shot. But we'll more to come. So we're not putting a cap on it. You can bet as much bets as you want in any game. I like that. Something Joe brought off the pod was Washington to score last. I'm throwing that on my bet slip.
All right.
I'm adding it to my bet slip. So
we're tied on that one.
Well, yeah, whatever happens on that one will be either win or lost.
Yeah, true.
But I'm throwing that on. So I got Saquon under, Washington to score last.
I got that too, though.
Yeah.
I think Jaden Daniels is good. I don't think you'll be able to overcome this. I think Eagles go out to an early lead. I really could see this game being like tail end of the third quarter, like 31-10. Eagles start playing that pre-event. Washington gets a couple of garbage times because they can just give the ball to Saquon over and over.
I just worry about this game if Washington scores first. Washington scores 7 or 10 points up first, and it's dangerous. It's dangerous for the Eagles' game plan and dangerous for what they want to do. And
I agree, but they haven't really been dominant this year. They haven't gotten out to a lead and just ran away with it. A lot of their wins are coming from the tail.
Right.
That's like covering late, all that good stuff. Yeah. So I don't think their run game is good enough to support it.
All right. Now, second game. KC, Buffalo. I mean, you already know. You can lead the way with this bet. I have more bets than this one, but I mean, go ahead. What you got?
I'm going to let it rip, and I'm going to go a little bit crazy. So the deal with the bets are they got to be around even odds or plus odds for you to place them. So you guys see the jersey. Pick number one. I'm going off the rails here, but Buffalo -6.5 alt line. I don't even need to take that because I could just take them at plus odds right now for money line, but I think that Buffalo wins by a touchdown. I think Josh Allen just takes over. Patrick Mahomes has not played good this year, and their offensive line is garbo. So I think that, you know what I mean, the Bills' defense has been very opportunistic where they force turnovers. Mahomes has already shown he's going to do that this year.
Yeah.
Travis Kelce is old. I know he had a bye, so he played good last week, but I think they choke it away. Mahomes throws a few picks, whatever it might be. They get some turnovers. Josh is super Josh, and they ended up winning.
Yeah.
I guess my score prediction is going to be like 34-17. I think they mollywop them.
I got Bills. I have fallen a victim to the Eagles Chiefs Super Bowl because of the colors of the logo. I have fallen a victim to that conspiracy
script.
And that script, you hate it. You hate to see that. But I have fallen a victim to that. I do think it's the Chiefs. How do you bet against them? I will not be throwing a lot of units on any money line or anything like that. Like, I think if the Bills get down a lot at half or Bills get down early, I'd love to hop on the spread.
Right.
I can't. It's hard for me to take it pregame. I do think the Bills win this one. I do think our Super Bowl preview is Bills-Eagles. I'm in agreement with you.
This might be another big brain, but I also feel like everyone in the world is going to bet on Kansas City because of what we've seen before. And this might be one of those sneaky Vegas is flipping to, you know what I mean, to make everyone think a certain way.
Exactly. But at the end of the day, I'm sitting there to 2 years ago, and I'm telling myself, like, I will never bet against Patrick Mahomes again in my entire life.
And I'm always
sitting here, and I'm like, it's, you know what I mean?
It's the fucking T-Mobile commercials, man. I can't stand these T-Mobile commercials.
Every time. But I ran into that predicament when they played Tampa Bay and Tom Brady. I was like, these are two people I can't bet against. Like, I can't bet on this.
Rocking a hard place.
Coin toss. Like, but I'm not betting. I'm not. None of my picks for this are going to be Bills or Chiefs focused. But it's playoff football, kind of like how I said earlier. No way Saquon runs that much. I also think that the reason Saquon might not run that much is they're going to do everything they can to stop Saquon because of Jalen Hurts' injury and the perception of him not being able to pass. Jalen Hurts has to have a big rushing game. You know what I mean? Jalen Hurts has to be able to run. But I think just the Josh Allen, Pat Mahomes combo, them playing against each other, this playoff game, this environment, this, late in the season, it's like you take both of their over in rushing yards.
Yeah, I like that.
I think I got Mahomes over, I think it was 22.5. Josh Allen's at 49.5. I don't love the 49.5.
That's a lot.
I'll still take it. Like, I think that both of those guys are the type of guy that's like, I'd rather die than not win this game. And I don't want to go out there and like not give everything I had. And I think to them, if they ended the game with less than 20 rushing yards apiece, like they'd be heartbroken. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they lose, to your point.
So. You got to keep the ball in your playmaker's hand, which I completely agree with you there. My second bet for this game is Josh Allen to score. It's at -115, to which me is ridiculous. Yeah. Because we've seen that he takes over these games. I love James Cook, but you're in the goal line. Say they're at the 2-yard line. They're not handing the ball off. It's Josh. I don't care if it takes 3-4 times to get the job done.
Yeah.
He's like 6'5".
That's the beauty, lay down. The beauty of playoff football, though, is that like coaches get nervous, coaches tense up, coaches are like, we have to hand it off. Like it's just smarter. The odds, the stats would say so. So like that's playoff. That's football.
Scary football, though. That's Mike Tomlin football.
Yeah, it is. That is Mike Tomlin football. So that's our bets. I got no more. I got Josh over in rushing, Mahomes over in rushing. Actually. Nah, I do like Jalen Hurts passing yards, I will say. But I'm not going
to have the same picks every week.
I can't take it. Mahomes over rushing, Josh over rushing, Saquon under.
I like it.
And then we're both going to be on the Washington last to score.
I don't know the odds, actually, but can I throw in Jaden Daniels to throw an interception?
Sure. I was looking at those. I almost took it, but then I was like,
let me throw it in there. I'd have to assume it's close to even odds.
Throwing.
Because he doesn't do it that much, but I think he's going to get scared.
You can take it. I think it's fine. I think it's like minus. Jalen Hurts is like plus 120, and his was like minus 120. It was something like that. I was looking at it. Plus 120 is
kind of crazy.
It was like 126 both ways.
All right. I'll take.
I don't hate that bet. I thought about that too, but I didn't want to. That could just me be out of spite because they beat the Lions. So
Super Bowl
those are our
preview.
bets. Lock them in. Records are on the table now. Now we have money in the game, skin in the game, chat to let us know what we're going to do as a punishment.
Super Bowl preview.
Yeah, so we got Buffalo, Eagles.
Line, we already checked it, -1.5 for Buffalo.
Yeah,
right.
And we're both taking that. That's what we would take. I mean, I can't look at props or can't look at much else. I think the over was like 45 or 47 or something.
Seems a little low, but two good defenses.
Yeah, so I can't remember for sure, and I'm just going to go Buffalo. I'll probably go Buffalo money line. I'll probably go Buffalo. I'll probably take, again, if Josh Allen rushing hits in this game and they win, I'll probably take that bet again. That's just what he's known for. And then really other than that, I don't know. I mean, I get crazy in the Super Bowl bets. So this might be the biggest slate of all time.
I already decided doing tails for the coin toss.
Tails? I'll hop tails.
It's been heads a ridiculous amount lately. That's why I took it last year. This is the year where the pendulum swings. I think it's definitely going to be tails this year.
I'll ride that with you. Kind of depends. Did you see the interview of Mahomes and Josh Allen where he's like, what's Josh's biggest fear? They're asking Mahomes. He's like, a coin toss.
Yeah.
I could see that happening.
That's why I think they're going to be – the Bills would be so aggressive.
You know what's not a bad bet today? OT. OT is not a bad bet. So script. That's so script.
Yeah, but I don't know. I can't take it because it feels like sacrilegious if I'm rooting for the Bills to win.
Oh, I
because if it goes to overtime, they're cooked.
A little sprinkle on. I never heard of it.
True.
Like a half a unit, just to be like, all right, because you could still hit everything.
If it goes there,
you could still hit everything and that.
Well, I did take a -6.5, so it goes to overtime. It wouldn't hit.
Yeah, true. So now for the fun stuff. Now we're through football. I mean,
Chad, tell us what you think about those games.
We're not gonna have anything to talk about after football season's over. Like, I mean, I know a little bit of ball, and we'll talk about March Madness. We'll talk about stuff like that. But it's gonna be not. I don't have as much intel, so we'll be nice. But we still got Super Bowl to talk about. We still got that. Like we got a lot of stuff coming up. But one of another segment, another thing we want to talk about, another thing we want to get into is more like drafts and just like hypotheticals and whatever. So we have two segments coming up that I think are pretty funny, pretty thought provoking, if you will, and that's the whole point of this.
Thinking.
We're thinking about football because that's probably what we think about most, but we're also thinking about shit that doesn't matter a lot. I think about shit that doesn't matter all the time.
More often than not.
More often than I think about shit that matters. I think about shit that doesn't matter. Which you could say I'm just thinking a lot. I like to think I'm thinking about the important things.
Right.
But besides the point.
Perspective.
We're going to do a draft. So I'm going to go, Joe's going to go, we're going to go back and forth. And the draft is going to be worst foods that you can eat in the office. So we both work corporate jobs. We're both in the office all day. I take my lunch. What time's your lunch? I've been taking mine at 12.
We don't have a set time. Not to say I don't eat lunch. It's mostly caloric. I'm essentially trying to starve myself without actually classifying myself as anemic, or not anemic. Wait, that's what you know.
So that's what Joe has been having for lunch. But we're going to draft the worst lunches you could bring as a coworker. What's the worst possible lunch you could have?
And this could be as nuanced or as not nuanced as you want it to be.
Right. And then we're going to do it, and then we'll debate. If we have a debate, I feel like there could be a strong winner in some of these, but if there's a debate, we'll debate. You want to go first or me on this one?
Is it a snake?
I kind of got, it's snake.
All right, you go first.
Actually, let's just go back and forth.
Fine, that's fair.
Go back and forth. My first one is a seafood boil. So I hope people know what seafood boil is. It's like one of my favorite meals. But could you imagine you get the bag with the crab? And I'm picturing all these I'm going to eat at lunch. I'm going to eat it in at my desk. At work,
in front of everyone,
at the cafeteria or something. Yeah, everybody's watching. And you have a bag, and you have the bib, and you have the gloves, and you're like in the bag, and you're like literally just grabbing crab and like cracking it out
with the
with the
it's flying in your coworker's face.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And it smells like just like Cajun lemon butter. Yeah, like all this garlic and whatever.
That's a good bag.
That would just be insane. If somebody did that at work, I'd be like, what happened? But that's my number one pick.
Also, I'm curious, are you bringing that in as leftovers? Did you make it at home, or are you bringing that in?
No, I'm thinking
like it's steamed and hot.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking like you're door dashing this.
Okay.
You're door dashing.
No, that's fair. I was picturing like you bring that as leftovers, it smell like hell.
Yeah, true.
My number one pick, you kind of took mine, but it also made me think hard-boiled eggs. Just a baggie of hard-boiled eggs. See, so that's why I was asking that question, because if you bring in a Ziploc bag of 5 hard-boiled eggs from the day before, like you meal prep, it'd look bizarre as fuck if you ate that in front of your coworkers.
Great macro.
Yeah, it would smell insane too, though. It would smell ridiculous and look insane.
I agree. You can't. But hard-boiled eggs are good, bro. I don't sleep on them, but I agree. That's up there. My next one, we're just doing 3, right? My next one is going to be ribs.
That's a good, strong pick.
So
that would wreak havoc on your keyboard.
Yeah, I'm just like, dude, pretty much you could pick anything that you're just like picking up and eating with your hands, but it like gets all messy. And it's just like, how is that even allowed at work? You should not be allowed to eat that here.
Yeah.
I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory, but I got ribs as number 2.
That's a good pick. I was going to go kind of extremely controversial. I was going to say human meat because that's obviously illegal. A lot of red flags for your employer, but I'll go secondary to that. Not as crazy, but still kind of along those lines. I'll go elephant meat because I don't think that's legal to eat. But let's say you just went on vacation to Africa, you picked up some, you brought it back with you.
Yeah. That's why
I think that's poaching.
I went to it. I think it is. I don't know if you can eat elephant, but there's a lot of stuff out there. What I'll consider elephant as is I went to a jerky store a year ago, and they had everything. They had emu and kangaroo and alligator, and I was like,
here? Where was that?
Yeah, it was we went up to Port Huron.
Yeah,
I forget.
I didn't know that was legal.
It was like on the way there.
I was thinking about saying ostrich.
Those are my
Like, I
favorite.
guess that would be legal.
Ostrich is illegal.
But emu's not?
They had it there.
I thought those were the same
I'm
thing.
saying they were all there.
Oh.
Like I could have bought it.
Underground jerky. Right?
I think I tried kangaroo and I tried alligator maybe. I forget.
That just seems fucked up.
Well, remember at the bar at our school, like we had literally gator bites that were alligator. I tried those a couple times. So
is that actually alligator?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was just like a marketing play.
That's what I thought.
I figured it was chicken.
That's what I thought. I was like, is this chicken? They're like, no. Like, we literally have alligator. I was like, oh, that's why you guys are called the blue gator. You know? Like, what? But yeah, so I got. What's it? You said elephant,
yeah,
and or ostrich emu is your second pick.
Yeah.
My last pick is gonna be one that I feel like is more relatable. Is happens frequently, and like we just had this catered for my team launch this week. So, Mediterranean food, and the reason I say that is like you get a room full of people eating Mediterranean food. It's just going to smell like garlic the rest of the day.
True. That's a good pick.
Like you are going to, we would eat in like the cafeteria, kind of like one of the conference room areas, and then go back to our desk. But like we're all in the same corner because it's all the same team. It's like, it just, who's getting Mediterranean food without like garlic or like strong seasoned things?
Right. Where it just smells ridiculous.
Yeah. Like I actually was thinking about that beforehand. I was like, I don't want garlic this week. So I got like a salad. I got like a chicken shawarma salad or something. So I didn't have to do it. But that's my last pick. I got those three, and I'm confident in those three.
I know this is ridiculous. I got to go pee really quick. You hold down the fort.
Joe's got a small bladder.
I do.
And it's going to happen when you're thinking over beers. It's going to happen. So like we're just going to cut it out and start back up from where we left off.
Maybe not, though.
But you got one last food. You got
one last food. I was trying to think. There's a lot of different ways I could take it. I feel like some of them could be offensive.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it.
No offense on this podcast.
I'm going to say it.
No one's taking any offense.
It's got to be halal.
Halal?
Yeah.
Halal?
Dude, come on,
yeah,
bro.
I almost went with like not butter chicken. I love butter chicken, but like some Indian food, man. The whole office gonna smell that.
It's insane. Especially mine. We got an open floor plan. You can't. You
know what's diabolical too, and this just didn't get brought up, but like if you're bringing back like there's somebody, and I won't say whatever, but let's just say somebody was bringing fast food every day.
Yeah.
Like you're walking by, you're always like, oh, McDonald's, oh, Taco Bell. Like it's kind of like it's down there. It's not like up there with like the worst, but it's down. It's like it's not as bad as what we said, but it's something to mention. It's like an honorable mention for this one.
So far, our picks have been like smells or the ethicalness of it for me. But I mean, if you're eating fast food every day, that's one where you can easily judge that and say this person is either poor as fuck or doesn't care about themselves.
True. It is an easy, quick judge, but also the smell is kind of like, you should be doing that? Like, I don't know. I'm confident in mine. Chat, you'll have to let us know. I got ribs, I got seafood boil, and I got Mediterranean food, but with garlic.
Hard-boiled eggs, elephant meat, and halal food.
Yeah, and if elephant meat's not accepted, which it might not be, then ostrich.
It's hard to obtain, but if you do, that makes it worse.
Basically,
how did you get it?
Meat. I think you could eat meatloaf and be fine though.
Oh, meatloaf would be bizarre.
Sometimes I eat I've been bringing my like meal prep meals to work, and it's like ground beef and rice. And people will walk by my desk and be like, "What are you eating?" I'm like, "Pound of ground beef."
That's got to smell pretty gnarly too, honestly. I was trying to think too, because if you saw them eating candy every day. I had this one coworker where every day for lunch, which to me is a crazy move, they go to the gas station, get a Red Bull and a Twinkie.
That's nuts. That's absurd.
I feel like you're trying to slowly kill yourself.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, you're not surviving off of that.
No. Imagine your brain process at work. That's what you're fueling yourself with.
Yeah. But let us know your feedback.
Say down below who won.
What we rated there. And I am so happy for this next section. I think we're probably going to do this every single podcast because these are so fun.
New segment.
Yeah,
New segment alert.
New segment. Pew, 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 pew. But this segment is called Digesting Cora. And what we mean by that is, let's just say Joe's asked Cora some great questions in his past.
I had to figure out some stuff as a young man.
Yeah, sometimes you do your the parenting gets done through the internet at our age. You're Googling things because you're like, why am I going to ask my mom this? But at the end of the day, or my dad, whatever.
Thank God.
So
I did not have to ask that.
Yeah, basically we're finding questions that people ask on Quora Digest, and we're gonna answer them ourselves.
Right.
And we're gonna tell you how we feel about them. We would love to get your thoughts. We would love to get how you feel. Like we were picking questions that are thought provoking because it's it's thinking beers. Bro.
If nothing else, we want you guys to learn something from this. We don't want it to be for no reason. We want to give you guys insight if you ever run into these situations.
100%. So first in this segment is going to be called Digesting Quora.
Play on words for the boys.
Right.
Come on.
We got it. So first question of the day is, and I got to read this one. So what will happen? What will happen if I toss my dog over a random dog owner's fence? I don't want this dog anymore.
Yeah. It's a good question.
It is a good question because
we've all been there.
I think where my head immediately goes is it illegal to lose your dog? Is it illegal to lose your dog? Is it illegal to
to not try and find it?
Yeah. I feel like, obviously unethical. A lot of these are probably going to be unethical, but is it illegal? What do we think the crime should be?
Emotions aside, this is all legality.
Yeah, I think, but it's like, what do you think the crime should be? So
to me, there's a lot of factors that
go to court for it, and the court cases. I tossed my dog over. I won't say neighbor. We'll just say I knew a person down the street who owned a dog, and they had a couple dogs, so I thought they could take care of another one. And I just tossed my dog over the fence. I just didn't want it anymore.
That's a big part to me too, because it says dog owners. I don't know if that means they own one dog, or to me, if they have like 5 dogs, right? Because then it could almost be a seamless.
Yeah.
Oh, I lost track of how many dogs we have. Now we have another one back.
Right. I agree. But I feel like you'd never lose track of how many dogs you have. You could. As a dog owner, you're not going to be like, unless you're like the crate. Like, I mean, that could be one of those situations too. Like you're popping it over the fence of like a kennel,
a breeder, or something like that. Yeah.
Right.
Because the discussion is entirely different if they own one dog or many dogs.
I think at the end of the day, what I would do if I was a judge and I had to I forget what it's called, but basically come up with a decision on a case. Like, yeah, sure. Preside on this case. I would say that I think, is it illegal? Yes, it's illegal. You can't just give someone a living animal and say like, oh, I just dropped it off. Like, it's yours now. So is it illegal? Yes. Is the fine jail time? No. I think the fine would just be like a $10,000, like, you left your property somewhere it shouldn't have been. But
$10,000 is a lot.
Yeah, I think that's what I would put it at though. Like, you can't just be that would be so stressful what if you weren't a dog owner? I know in this case you are, but even if you are and you just had one dog and like you just got that dog and then someone just pops another dog over the fence and you're like, I can't just leave it. And I think it's like negligent. I think the crime would be something like you're like animal negligence or something. It'd be like, when you neglect your child and you don't take care of them, it'd be like that for an animal.
Well, I also am curious though, because the question is posed as throw your dog over a fence, I believe. So
could be abuse too, yeah.
That implies the fence is very tall.
Yeah.
So I don't think you have any recourse legally to say that the dog made its own way over the fence.
That is true.
So the fence comes into play, because if it's a smaller chain link, a dog technically. Now we're kind of getting into the nitty gritty of how big's the dog, how big's the fence. But
right.
See, if I had a dog, say it weighs 90 pounds, and we're dealing with a short chain link, that would be my target. because
Yeah.
I could make the case dog went missing,
He just
climbed over your
hopped.
fence.
I didn't know he was there.
Yeah, didn't know. Couldn't find it. It was in your
Yeah.
yard. So I guess what it boils down to is
What's
situational.
your
If
punishment?
if it's an 8 foot tall wooden fence and the dog owners only own one dog, and I actually do carry out the action of picking up my dog and putting it in their yard, I feel like that warrants 2 years jail time.
Okay, if it's a fence the dog could hop over, but you still did it. But maybe they
If
don't
it's
find
short
out
enough,
that you did it.
that's what I'm saying.
Maybe that is your case.
There's a situation
like
where
your
you can get
lawyer's
away
a
with
good
it.
lawyer, and you're like, oh, he's just hopped the fence. I didn't know he was there.
Right. Or if you really wanted to sell it, you could probably at night start tunneling underneath the fence and then throw a couple of milk bones on the other side so the dog did it on its own accord.
Mm-hmm.
That would probably be the easiest way to offload.
Yeah.
If you really, truly didn't want it.
No, that's... So you think 2 years jail time, though, if you just toss them and leave?
If it's intentional, yeah. And it's obvious. I think if it's intentional and it's obvious, you can dictate a clear motive for it.
Can you drop dogs off at like a dog shelter and be like, I don't want this anymore?
Like an orphan baby at a fire station.
That? Is that an option?
I don't know.
Like rescue dog? I don't know,
honestly.
So I don't know if that's an option. If it's not an option, there's nothing you can do if you don't want your dog after you got it. Like there should be an option. That should be something that people should create by this time. Like, I don't want my dog. You could probably sell it on Craigslist.
We're getting dangerously close to having an abortion debate here.
Why would you not sell it on Facebook Marketplace? Or like
well, I mean, some dogs aren't sellable.
Yeah.
Imagine you got one with like weird ears and like looks ugly as hell.
You get a pat dog.
Not worth yeah, for sure. It's just some of them might not be worth the squeeze, dude.
Yeah, no, you got a good point. But that's the first one. I mean, I tell you again, chat. Let us know. I think
that one was thought provoking.
I think yours 2 years jail time. I think it does depend on the fence. I think there's a lot of factors in it.
I'd rather serve 2 years in jail than pay $10K.
Usually, you have to do both if you go to jail.
Yeah, that's fair.
Last one, and I think is a great one. Digesting Cora. Question 2 of the day. Is it legal if I put a GPS tracker into a fan mail letter and then ship it to a celebrity in hopes of finding and tracking their location? So like fan mail gets sent, it's probably a PL box or something.
There's a lot to unpack here.
You send it there, and then the idea is that it gets delivered to the celebrity that you're sending it to, probably a streamer or something, but a celebrity, and then they open it and you're now tracking them and you know where they live. Is it illegal to do that?
Right. I feel like you have more on this. Do you want to lead?
Yeah, my initial thoughts are that it is a tough one. It's not an easy question to answer. I don't think this is like anything that is easy. But my initial thoughts are that if you, it's only illegal once you're using an app or a third party source to access the information that's on the GPS tracker. So if you're a GPS tracker, because like virtually in my mind, this could be the same thing as like a GPS camera or some shit,
right?
Like a camera that's on.
That's what I'm curious about. The fixture. Are you hiding it inside of something else? Almost like if you get a fake ID and you got a tracker covertly placed inside of a wig or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Or is it just you open it and they're like, what is this device?
I think you're hiding it. I think you'd be an idiot if you send a GPS tracker and you like
just add it in a box.
Yeah, it was only the GPS tracker. Like, I'm just here to track you. Like because then they just throw it away or get rid of it and they'd be like, whatever. So
yeah, but at the end of the day,
you do hide it is the scenario.
The problem with this one though is no matter how you send it or whoever you're doing it to, the means behind it are nefarious.
Yeah,
you're trying to locate them for a reason,
right?
Especially if it's a famous person. What are you doing?
I think my final answer, and here's like I'll say crime time too, is there is 2 different scenarios, right? Scenario 1 is you send it. In both scenarios could be you try and hide it too. I guess
Let's make the assumption you're trying to hide it because you wouldn't do it if you're not.
The assumption is you're trying to hide it, but you send it and you do not do anything with the information that you get from it. You do not pursue on it. You just know where they're at. You do not pursue on it. I think it will lead to that, but you do not pursue it. You do not do whatever. You don't act on the information that you got. You're just sending it. Not illegal, nothing wrong. You can do that because at the end of the day, you're Amazon sending a GPS tracker to somebody's house to use. So I don't think that's illegal. I think it's illegal as soon as the GPS tracker enters somebody's house and then you are on a app or on whatever and you're like, I have the location.
Yeah.
Because at that point, you've entered somebody's house and like not unbeknownst to their knowledge, you enter their house, they're able to do that. And then you're using that information to like know where they live and likely act upon it.
To do something bad.
To gain information. Like you could, in some cases, maybe even get money for being like, I have this person's address. Like, let me.
That's very cynical. But yeah, no, that's where you assume the intent is. But you could also just do and try and be boys with the person. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. But who's going to be boys with something that's like really tracking them?
Well, they don't know that. That's what I'm saying. Like, if I did it, one of my favorite actors of all time, Jack Black.
Yeah.
Nacho Libre. One of my favorite movies. But let's say I do it to Jack Black, and then maybe instead of me wanting to get my dog gone earlier and I throw it over the fence, maybe I keep it and I'm walking around in Jack Black's neighborhood with my dog acting like I'm a Samaritan that lives in that neighborhood, and I run into him and I say, Jack, I didn't know you lived here, Jack.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You
and
just
then
keep
we just
walking your dog in the same neighborhood for years.
Hoping to run into him. Yeah, because I know where he is and I go, oh man, I just moved in down the street.
But that should be illegal too.
Well, but in this scenario, I'm trying to think of a way out of it. So, I mean, I'm thinking of it in a sense where if I were to do it, right? Like I would send it covertly. What does he love? Jack Black. He was most recently in the R.L. Stine movies. What were those called again?
I don't know.
The scary books. I forget what they're called. Probably read it as a kid, but
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Maybe I could cut out a few pages and like frame the book and be like, oh, congrats on your movie success, whatever. Plants it in there, know where he is, use that as a way to kind of get into his inner circle. Yeah. You know what I mean? Know where he is, be around him constantly, and then just use my personality to more or less infiltrate.
To weasel your way in there.
Yeah.
I get that, but you don't think that should be illegal?
Oh, it should.
Right.
But I'm thinking of ways where I could get around it.
Yeah.
And just make Jack Black to be my best friend.
Yeah. Well, I agree. And I hope that we're not giving people ideas, because it almost could be successful.
I actually don't know if, are you allowed to discuss how to commit crimes on YouTube?
I don't know. But these are all hypothetical. These are not real.
Yeah.
We're not listening to take any advice that we're suggesting here.
No.
But
we're just discussing.
That's it. That's I think at the end of the day, for me, like I said, it's illegal when you're
utilizing it.
Illegal when you're utilizing it, but if you're not acting upon it, then it's like, all right, you just sent somebody something.
From the get, it seems seedy.
Yeah, no matter what, if you're sending it, you have the wrong intention.
Yeah,
it's the likelihood of that situation. But
I will say, if it's guy to guy, then you're probably chilling. The second it's to a girl, I don't know about that.
Dude, if I was sending it to like Matthew McConaughey and like tracking him,
I'd be
sick.
Like,
yeah, it'd be dope. But I would like, it's not okay that I'm tracking a guy just because I like the actor. Like Adam Sandler, it's not okay if I just track him because whatever.
Well, that's the difference, though. He's so up there. If he saw me cruising around the neighborhood, he'd call the cops.
Right. But almost like, what if it happened to us? Like, what if we posted this first one and then somebody sent it to us and then we're getting tracked? You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't like that as the person being tracked.
Well, if they're doing it like how I'm trying to do it and just trying to be my friend, I could use a couple more boys in the spot.
You just DM me on Instagram. I'll be your friend. You know
True. You don't have to track me. I'll chill. I'll vibe.
But no, that's a wrap. That's episode 1.
Let's go.
We had some mic issues. We had some issues. And, like, hopefully this audio syncs up. It's probably going to be terrible, but, like, the quality doesn't look too bad.
Let's go.
So, first of every month, February 1st will be when this comes out.
Could be more.
So we will have to probably make the next episode after the Super Bowl, but we already predicted it. We already know what's going to happen.
What if we say this? If we get up to 10 subscribers, we'll start doing 2 episodes a month.
True. 10,
Let's make a goal here.
10 subs.
Spread the pod.
We are pushing. I asked Joe what's the daily or what's the yearly goal. He was like 50 concurrent viewers. I was like, that's a great goal. So the goals aren't high. The goal, again, this is for our liking, for our enjoyment. But no, it's been fun. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you made it this far, you are probably 1 out of 5 people in the world that have made it this far in the podcast.
It's probably Noah.
So we appreciate you. It's probably Noah. It could be Chase. I can see Josh listening a little bit.
Yeah.
Pat won't make it. There's no way Pat makes it this far.
No.
As soon as Pat starts hearing about Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn, he's going to be like, what's going on?
I don't think he has my phone number saved.
Which I think I'm just going to throw jabs at Pat the whole time. Just because I'll be like, Pat, you been listening? And he'll be like, yeah. It's so good. It's so good. I'll be like, yeah.
Yeah.
He hasn't always been talking.
This is a good litmus test. Pat, text me if you listen to this. You're also short as hell. We don't want to make this too secluded to our own friend group, though. Hey, If you don't know us and you're listening to this, 100% probably not a chance, but let us know what you think about me and Chris. Rate us on a scale of 1 to 10 and what our shortcomings are as human beings.
What could we work on? What could we be better at? Give us feedback. Help us out. But
I know Chris said our goal earlier was just for us. We want to have this as an archive. But honestly, I'm trying to ascend to be an omnipresent consciousness almost. Like God. I want to be able to lift myself into a higher plane of being so that I know where everyone is at all times, their rights, their wrongs, and be able to exact my judgment upon them. And that's honestly the biggest reason why I'm doing the podcast.
Right. So that's a wrap, man. It's good shit. It's been fun. It's been a good time. We'll be back soon. Hopefully the editing goes well. I have no idea how it's gonna go, but you'll see us on YouTube. Follow us on, what do we got? Tell us the socials.
Hey, we got Instagram _thinking_beers. We got Twitter, Thinking Beers Straight Up. The YouTube, Thinking Beers Straight Up. Follow us on all social medias. We will be very active and interact with us. Do all that shit. Let's blow up together. You guys are the reason why we're doing this.
Shout out.